Kolkata, I will never forget the reception that you have accorded to me. I will never forget this roadshow. But while speaking with Pallavi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlining some of the important aspects with respect to Vikas and Vishwas, ladies and gentlemen. On the OBC quota and this entire game of Muslim appeasement using the OBC card and the OBC quota, the Prime Minister welcoming the Kolkata High Court's judgment. But more importantly, he's turned around and said, we are the ones who have assured women's safety, respect, reservation for women, and also to a certain level trying to bring up the standards with which women are treated in society, and especially in Bengal. The other thing is, if you drive out investors, no investor will come despite an investor summit. If you're at the bedrock of your politics is to try and block investors, block growth, then how is the story of Kolkata, how is the story of Bengal going to move forward? Give us 5 years, or let this government understand and mend its ways. In 5 years, Kolkata, Bengal can be turned around. That's the big message coming in. If we can do it in Uttar Pradesh, why not in Bengal? These are the message that the Prime Minister has sent across while speaking with us here at CNN News 18. Pallavi Ghosh with that interview. We'll try and get her live if we can. But it's the grand finale, ladies and gentlemen, of this entire 2024 clash. Prime Minister Modi taking center stage even as we're getting into the final 10 seats in Bengal that will go up in phase 7. In an interview to ANI, the Prime Minister had said that the Trinamool Congress is fighting an existential battle in Bengal and predicted that the BJP will do its best ever. One of the biggest performances or the best performances of the BJP in these elections will be in Bengal, is what he had said. Further escalating the attack on the Mamata government, Prime Minister, while addressing rallies in Barasat and Jadavpur, vowed to combat corruption in Bengal and propel the culture and economy to new heights, exactly what he echoed when he spoke with Pallavi Ghosh just a short while ago. The Prime Minister said that by rejecting the High Court order, the Trinamool Congress is actually openly playing a vote bank game of appeasing the Muslim vote bank, and that's not going to work. Prime Minister, while speaking with Pallavi, very clearly saying that our country was divided on the grounds of religion, and that's why our founding fathers said there will be no more religious accommodation of any kind of dole. It will be done based on socio-economic and educational classification, and that's what we should focus on. But the Prime Minister said that this was endeavored or attempted directly in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, which the courts have stopped. And here they used the backdoor route, the indirect route. And that has now also been called out by the Kolkata High Court. It was never a point of political discourse, but it's now come into the limelight and people are realizing the game that was being played, the dangerous game that was being played. So this is what the Prime Minister has said. And he's also said that if the left then dissuaded investment in Bengal, then the Trinamool took it a notch further. We will change all of that. Let's also take a look at the BJP's performance in Bengal, and especially in the Lok Sabha elections. In 2009, the BJP won 1 seat with a vote share of just 6.29%. In 2014, it won 2 seats with a vote share of 16.55%. In 2019, look at the escalation, 18 seats with a vote share of 40.25%. The entire left vote transferred quite literally, and especially the Hindu left vote transferred quite literally to the BJP, and the BJP became the alternative to the Trinamool Congress in Bengal. Although all of it changed, and quite a lot of it changed with the assembly elections, where the BJP rose from 7 to 77 or 3 to 77, ladies and gentlemen, but the Trinamool also returned 211. It was straight, it was a two-way fight. The BJP this time around is gunning for nearly 30 seats in the Lok Sabha elections out of 42. How can they gain and where all? Arambagh, Trinamool Congress's Aparupa Poddar narrowly defeated BJP's Tapan Kumar Ray by just 1142 votes. Victory margin of less than 0.1, just about 0.1%. In Maldaha Dakshin, BJP Srirupa Mitra Chaudhary secured 34.7% votes, lost to Congress's Abu Hasim Khan Chaudhary, who got 34.7% votes. Victory margin of 0.6%. Damdam's Trinamool Congress's Shogata Rai defeated BJP's Samik Bhattacharya by 53,000 votes. Victory margin 4.4%. Krishnanagar, again, Trinamool Congress's Mahua Moitra, 45.4% vote share, defeated BJP's Kalyan Chaube by 63,000 votes. Victory margin again less than 5%. Birbhum, another important seat, Trinamool Congress's Satabdi Roy defeated BJP's Dut Kumar Mondal by 88,924 votes, margin of 6.1%. Bardhaman Purva, Trinamool Congress's Sunil Kumar Mondal defeated BJP's Paresh Chandra Das by 89,000 votes. And again, victory margin about 6.2%. Srirampur, 10. Trinamool Congress's Kalyan Banerjee got 45.5% votes. BJP's Debjit Sarkar, 38.5% votes. Again, margin about 7%. So, this is where the victory margin less than 10%, and about 5 seats where the victory margin is less than 5%. Pallavi Ghosh now joins us live. Pallavi, congratulations on that interview on the roadshow, right on the bus. The Prime Minister very candid with you, where he turned around and said 3 aspects. He said, we have ensured women's safety, respect for women, more representation for women. Turned around and said law and order is a huge issue in Bengal. But more importantly, he said, give us 5 years, let this government change and mend its ways. We will turn around Bengal. Big words there.
Yes, that's a huge concern actually over here. That's a huge concern really, Anand, because I of course belong to this state, but when I met a lot of first-time voters, all of them are very worried and express their concern about the fact that why they love Bengal and this is their home. Unlike other states where there are opportunities like an Amazon or a Google opening big shops, and I did ask the Prime Minister this, why is it that Bengal loses out in terms of investment? So this would be good news for them certainly when the Prime Minister promises them that give me 5 years and it's going to be a turnaround moment for Bengal. And as he very correctly said, and this is always something which Bengalis at one point of time were proud about, what India thinks tomorrow, Bengal thinks today. Today that story doesn't seem to be holding true because the investments have dried up. He made that comparison to Uttar Pradesh also, which everyone thought would be a dry state in terms of investments, but look how UP has turned around. यहाँ पर investment summit बुलाने का क्या फायदा when people don't even want to invest? That's what the Prime Minister told me. He also made a very larger point that till you, and I did ask him about the poll violence, he said that if there's no safety, why is it that anyone would want to invest? Why would there be an economic progress? That's going to be a huge agenda, and frankly speaking, that's also a huge concern which Mamata Banerjee also faces in terms of getting more and more private investments, big companies, multinational opening their shops over here. They are there in Mumbai, Chennai, Mangaluru. Why not? Why should Bengal or Kolkata miss out on it?
True. The big question was Bengal and Kolkata was always considered the intellectual capital, the think tank, the thinking capital. And this was a conversation which many Bengalis today believe that that's not being encouraged. Thinking is not being encouraged. Investment is not being encouraged. But the Prime Minister also very candid on the OBC quota. And what is the sense that you get in Bengal? Is the Trinamool under pressure here? Is the BJP on the up? The Prime Minister's roadshow in Kolkata itself had a lot of ifs and buts and also hurdles put on. But how was the response? What did you feel?
Well, you know, there was a huge organic crowd. I mean, the area where he's doing his road show, which is just about to end, and it's just right behind me, Sham Bazar. This entire belt has a large number of businessmen, small traders, big traders, Marwadis. But this is also a very interesting constituency. This has been the turf for Sudip Bandyopadhyay of the Trinamool Congress. And pitted opposite him is Taposh Roy, who was at one point of time the same person who was a part of the Mamata Banerjee government and cabinet. He left the TMC to join the BJP, and he's considered to be the political advisor, the man who actually knows the ropes on the ground. It's interesting that when I was speaking to the Prime Minister, sharing stage with him on the truck was of course Shubhendu Adhikari, another person who's believed to have made Mamata Banerjee in Nandigram, and of course Taposh Roy was also very much on the stage with the Prime Minister. So this is a seat which the BJP is extremely hopeful about, and I think that also explains why the PM conducted that lonely load show in Kolkata. It's around 2 kilometers, but it's going to touch a chord possibly. I did see a large number of young people, a large number of first-time voters also very much here, and of course people who wanted to come here and have a look at the Prime Minister.
Congratulations on that interview again, Pallavi. Great work done on ground. Let's take this to our guests. Does this set the tone for Bengal, and will the Modi factor make a difference? Will the Mahila factor make a difference? Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the BJP with us, Swapan Das Gupta, former Rajya Sabha MP and senior journalist with us, and Tausif Khan, advocate and political analyst also with us. Namaste and Jai Hind. Swapanji, your thoughts on the Prime Minister's interview, the roadshow, and how Bengal is shaping up. You spent some time there, so let's get a sense from you.
Well, I didn't hear the interview, unfortunately, and I didn't. But I can sort of deduce what he said. But I think what's very important, and I thought it was very significant, is that there were 2 rallies. Firstly, the rally in Ashoknagar, where he touched upon this thing about women and the insecurity which is faced by women, and gave a lot of importance to Rekha Patra, the candidate for Sandesh Kali. That was one aspect of it. But I think the roadshow in North Calcutta, it was held. I think Pallavi got it a little wrong. It was held in places like Bagh Bazaar, Sham Bazaar, etc., which is really the heartland of old Bengali Calcutta. You know, that was the traditional ancestral house of Swami Vivekanand. That was where Sharada Ma you used to see was there. So there it's a lot of associations, Bengali associations which are linked with that area. And for the first time we saw that the response of the people, and Pallavi was absolutely right in saying that was an organic crowd. And it was a crowd of people who basically are yearning for some difference. And there was a certain cultural barrier which was there, which greeted the BJP in the past. And that cultural barrier, which was exploited by Mamata Banerjee into suggesting that these people are Bohiragato, they are outside. And I think one of the major achievements to today of Narendra Modi's roadshow was that he very, very successfully broke that. It was he alone who could have broken it. Earlier, Amit Shah had tried, but he didn't succeed. Modi ji, with his deep associations with the Ramakrishna Mission, etc., and Mamata Banerjee's own verbal assault on the entire saffron fraternity, whether it's Ramakrishna Mission, the Bharatiya ISKCON, etc. You know, these are people who things that has created a deep unease. And that unease was sought to be exploited by the Prime Minister. Now, this is a very difficult seat in Kolkata North. I think everybody's keeping their fingers crossed in the BJP. But all that can be said at this particular point is that today the BJP has given a fight, has thrown up a challenge to the Trinamool, which the Trinamool has never experienced before this.
Tausif Khan, before we bring in Zafar Islam. If the BJP makes inroads in these 10 seats, that will be a huge headache for the Trinamool going forward.
No, there is no question of BJP making any inroad. As at least admitted by Mr. Dasgupta, that Amit Shah failed to woo the voters of Bengal, and he is hoping that perhaps Mr. Modi will be able to achieve that. However, whenever we talk about M in Bengal, it is the Mamata Banerjee and it is the Mahila vote. That is what counts in all Bengal. It has in all elections in the past recently, in the recent years, it has always been Mahila vote, which is always taken for granted that they are going to vote for Mamata Banerjee. And there are various reasons for that. Not only that, the Mamata Banerjee is the only chief minister in the country who's a woman. Being a woman, that she appeals the women voters in Bengal. But the Bengal government runs various schemes like, Rupashri program, where a family is given financial aid at the time of marriage. Then Kanya Shri program, then Lakshmi Bhandar. It's because of these welfare schemes that Mamata Banerjee has cemented her position in Bengal politics, that at least the women voters are not going anywhere. So whether when Mr. Amit Shah, the supposed number 2, came and failed to woo the women voter, I don't know for which schemes did Mr. Narendra Modi offer to West Bengal to lure the voters of Bengal, the Mahila voters.
What happens is it is good to infer, but it is incorrect and it is unfair to misquote. What Swapan Das Gupta spoke about was that there was a cultural misalignment, and that cultural alignment has been shot over or has been creased out. That little bit of a crease has been done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and nobody could have done it like the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi does. This entire Boirogoto aspect of it is no longer applicable. who is Ram Bahar ke hain, Jai Shri Ram. That was what was all witnessed in 2019. But 2024 is a different scenario. Zafar Islam, how would you respond to Tausif saying that nothing, Mahila is not going to vote for PM Modi? The BJP is not going to gain or do better than the last time in 2019?
There is no question of if or but or and. BJP has already made inroads in Bengal, deep inroads. And when people are talking about BJP, they know that BJP is going to win at least 32 seats in West Bengal. And the Honorable Prime Minister has very candidly stated today in one of his speeches that one state which will really outperform the rest is West Bengal. There are many states where we have already reached the saturation point, like 100% seats we are getting. But there are states where we are improving our performance, we are progressing very well. And West Bengal will be the most performing state for Bharatiya Janata Party in 2024. Minimum 32 seats, and if 80 to 90% seats we get, we will not be surprised, because there's a lot of expectations of the youth expecting from the government, and it is only the Honorable Prime Minister can deliver it, and they know that Mamata cannot deliver it. Mamata is not a good chief minister who has never worked for the welfare of the people, or for the progress or the development of the state, but she has always prioritized to divide the society just to stay in power and let her nephew do the corruption and all her ministers do the corruption. All this thing has been done in last several years, but today, if you ask a man on the street, he will say that we want to vote for Modi because we want development in West Bengal, we want global companies to invest in West Bengal, we want to secure the future of next generation, we want the state of Bengal should progress, and that can happen if it's led by Bharatiya Janata Party and the Honorable Prime Minister in the center and somebody in the state as a chief minister.
Would you agree with this inference,
will definitely drive
in 2019, 2014, 2019, it was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, it was nationalism. And it was also, of course, the Matua factor when CAA was being spoken about, and there was a promise. In 2024, would you agree if I say that it is more Hindutva, it is more Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Math, Ramakrishna Mission, it is more about delivering on the promise of CAA. So is there a shift there? Because the PM came in 2019 also and addressed a rally in Kolkata. Today he's done a roadshow in Kolkata. What's the difference? What's changed in the last 5 years? After you, then Swapan Das Gupta ji.
Actually, Anand, if you really do a back testing of what we have spoken about West Bengal, we've always spoken about two important things. One, the lack of development in West Bengal, and second, the way the policy of appeasement by Mamata Banerjee, and we really want to put an end to these two flaws, which major flaws. There are many flaws in Mamata governance model, but these very prominent flaws in Mamata government, which is directly impacting the people of West Bengal, and everybody wants a change, and then can be provided only by Bharatiya Janata Party is a natural.
But that change should be at the assembly election. How is the change manifest as far as Lok Sabha is concerned? It didn't manifest when it comes to the assembly elections. Yes, the BJP gained, sir, and to the BJP's credit, it was unprecedented. 3 to 77 or 3 to 80 is phenomenal. But the Trinamool returned 211.
I'm coming to that.
Ji.
But I'm coming to that. But in terms of vote percentage in general election in 2019, it's merely 2 or 2.5%, and you have just shown the margin of victory is 0.5 to 4% to 5% to 6%.
Correct.
But we have been able to really make deep inroads in West Bengal. The margin will now it will be positive for us, and we will register more victories in West Bengal. And as a result, I am saying that the people's hope lies in BJP, and in 2025 when the assembly election will take place, you will see people will not only vote for change, but we will vote for development, and Bharatiya Janata Party in particular, that they want Bharatiya Janata Party to come and run the state, and demonstrate a better governance model which ensure the safety and security besides safeguarding the interests of the common man on the street. This is something which we have been able to do very
But here is a charge that comes from
we have
an
been able
ex.
to do.
Yeah,
Quickly,
can I just,
yes, Swapanji.
Yeah, can I just intervene? You know, what's the difference between 2019 and 2020? It's the question which was asked. And I think one of the major differences which is there is that there are certain issues which have been taken up now. The most important which one is corruption. And with corruption comes the lack of development. You know, and the second issue, yes, you're absolutely right. There's a subtle shift in there's an undercurrent of Utva which is there. And I think that's part of it has got to do with, and I would really respectfully submit to Mr. Yusuf Khan that, you know, the two M's he was talking about, one is Mamata, but the second is not Mahila. Unfortunately, it has a very communal connotation. It is really
Muslim,
a solid
Musalman.
block of Muslim votes which has got there. And she takes it for granted, and a lot of her policies, etc., are geared towards consolidating that bloc. I believe that bloc will probably, by and large, stay with her in this election, with the exception of certain parts of North Bengal, where it might go to the other places. But, and I think here is the thing, the extent to which the BJP can appeal to the other women, other youth, etc., to say that whether joining the national mainstream is going to be the focus for development. And that's what the Prime Minister suggested, that give me 5 years. What was he saying? We know very well that this is not a state assembly election. That even if Mamata Banerjee is to be thoroughly defeated in this round of the Lok Sabha election, her government will still be there. Of course, it will be
here is a former BJP person now in Trinamool, Babul Supriyo, former MP from Asansol, Syed Zafar Islam. This is what he's saying. The change I see in our Honorable Prime Minister from 2014 to today shocks me like many others. Doesn't he hear himself when he's speaking? What is he talking about? He has no right to talk about corruption. He and his party have sheltered superstars of corruption in our country, and then there are plenty of pictures that have been put with stamps of corrupt, etc. This is his tweet where he's tagged the BJP, tagged AITC official and also Derek O'Brien. The netas in this video are only 10% of the total number of Bhraštachar wale he has sheltered in his party. So the Trinamool saying quite rich coming from the Prime Minister talking about corruption.
No, the Prime Minister has said that he's going to try and enable some legislation whereby a lot of the money which is recovered is given back to the people. That was what he was reacting.
Yeah, but the fact is, the allegation is that the BJP today is the hotbed of all the Bhrashtacharis who were Bhrashtacharis in 2014 today are hobnobbing with the Prime Minister and sharing space with the Prime Minister, including on the roadshow today. Yes, Syed Zafar Islam.
I think you have to really understand two things, Anand. One, that when they are in their own party, the party which they were earlier prior to joining BJP, nobody made this kind of a statement. It is when we hear from about somebody as a political party, we have to make noise. But it is the agency which does the work. So they are independent agencies. They pursue based on the evidence and the information they have, and they lead what they get. But if they feel that they were corrupt, then why didn't they thrown out these people from their party? When they are with them, they are not corrupt. When they are with us, they are corrupt. If I can tell Babul Supriyo that any party. No, I'm saying anybody who is in their party and they have been sacked or thrown out from their party because of the corruption charges, BJP will never touch them. But if there is something which has been heard and we have made noise, doesn't mean that they have been proven guilty. So as long as they are not guilty, let the independent agencies pursue their based on their evidence. If they found anybody found guilty, we'll definitely take appropriate action against them.
Well, this is where the aspect of standards being the same and each one looking at the other and being coloured and mired in corruption stands out. And this is one aspect which the Trinamool has come out and tried to say that they will attack. I've got limited time. Would like to play out a short portion of that conversation the Prime Minister had with Pallavi Ghosh just a short while ago, just as we came on live. with the right stand. Listen in, please.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, सुबह से तृणमूल का कहना है कि आप आउटसाइडर हो, बीजेपी का कहना है कि बंगालेर मोने मोदी हमारे मन में प्रधानमंत्री हैं। आप अपने आप को आउटसाइडर तो नहीं समझते हो, आपका जवाब क्या होगा तृणमूल कांग्रेस को?
ऐसा है कि शायद कुछ लोगों की इतनी बैंक्रप्सी है कि वो पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव गढ़ नहीं पा रहे हैं। आइडियोलॉजी पर, विजन पर, डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स पर, उस पर कोई बात करे तो उसका एक वैल्यू है। जब वो कुछ नहीं होता है तो फिर ऐसी बातें करनी पड़ती हैं जो किसी भी देशवासी को अपमानित करती है। और उनको अंदाज नहीं है कि इसका नुकसान देश में बंगाली समाज को भी होता है। ये कभी नहीं करना चाहिए। इस देश का किसी भी कोने में रहने वाला व्यक्ति, उसके प्रति हमारा वही भाव होना चाहिए। और वैसे तो हम लोग वसुधैव कुटुंबकम वाले हैं, पूरे विश्व को परिवार मानते हैं, तो हमें ये शोभा नहीं देता है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं संदेश खाली से हाल ही में होके आई हूँ और वहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारी महिलाओं से बात करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन वो कुछ सहमे हुए हैं। उनको उम्मीद है कि वोट से शायद उनको वो मौका मिलेगा बोलने का। आप नारी शक्ति पे बहुत जोर डालते हैं, संदेश खाली को लेके आपको क्या कहना है?
मैं बताता हूँ। सबसे पहले तो मैं संदेश खाली के उन सभी बहनों का चरण स्पर्श करता हूँ। तो उन्होंने इतनी हिम्मत दिखाई, उन्होंने व्यक्तिगत प्रतिष्ठा की चिंता नहीं की, क्या परिणाम हो गए उसकी चिंता नहीं की, और वो इतने बड़े भयंकर षड्यंत्र को उन्होंने लोगों के सामने उजागर किया। मैंने आज मेरी एक सभा थी, तो बहन रेखा पात्रा जी हमारी उम्मीदवार है, मैंने उसका भाषण सुना, मैं आश्चर्यचकित था जी। क्या एनर्जी थी, क्या आइडियोलॉजी थी, क्या फ्लो था। शायद टीएमसी के पास रेखा पात्रा जैसा भी एक ऑरेटर नहीं होगा। झुग्गी झोपड़ी में पली हुई है, मतलब वो भीतर से उसके दिल की आवाज बोल रही थी। जहां तक बीजेपी का सवाल है, हमने दो दिशाओं में काम किया है। एक, नारी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए कानूनी, जैसे हमने रेप के मामले में फांसी की सजा, उस दिशा में हम लोग गए हैं। उसी प्रकार से हमने आरक्षण की व्यवस्था की महिलाओं के लिए। हम 3 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं।
Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Even as the Prime Minister hit the campaign trail and was in Kolkata while speaking with CNN News 18, he underlined that he would bring back the glory of Bengal. 141 years ago, on the 28th of May 1883, this man, Swatantra Veer Damodar Savarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, was born. What was his vision of Bharat amid a time when the Prime Minister speaks about the OBC reservation and this quota being used as a dangerous appeasement game? When we are looking at Bengal and Prime Minister said, "Ek aur vibhajan Bengal mein hone nahi denge." Where does the ideology of Savarkar come in? Is there a template that we can learn? What was his thesis and his vision of Bharat? What was his point of view? The opposition that vilifies and lampoons Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, should they actually turn to him to try and tell the BJP that this is what he espoused and this is what we are espousing? My India would be a democratic state in which people belonging to different religions, sects or races would be treated with perfect equality. None would be allowed to dominate others. None would be deprived of his equal right, just an equal right of free citizenship, so long as everyone discharges the common obligation which they owe to the state as a whole. Hindustan, the motherland, holy land of Hindus from the Indus, the seas, would be an undivided organic state. The Hindus would be a casteless society, a consolidated modern nation. Science and technology would be encouraged, and going on to outline what his vision was, where he said that it would be a landlordless society. The state would own all the land and also the big industries. Everybody would get equal opportunities, and we would champion the cause of a common earth, a common land, Bhumi. That was his thought process, where he said that we would have a strong policy that rides on a strong military. And he said a strong Akhand Hindustan would be a policy of neutrality and peace. On a day when Bengal is at the forefront, 1950 Noakhali riots, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, ahead of partition, had envisioned that this would come to pass. We will again have to face this situation. He had talked about it in 1921 when he predicted the partition of Bharat. Should we go back to his lessons and should we understand his thesis when it comes to this entire reservation debate and when it comes to the state of Bengal? Ranjit Savarkar, grandson of Veer Savarkar, joins us. Ranjit ji, namaste, Jai Hind, thank you for your time, sir. Today, Savarkar Jayanti, and ahead of the final phase of elections, a lot of conversation around reservation, around caste. Want to understand, what was Veer Savarkar's point of view?
See, Savarkar's ultimate goal was to bring everything everyone on a same platform. But his views regarding reservation were such, exactly what Ambedkar has envisioned, that is, the reservation should be kept for 10 years and later when the backward classes are brought at par with the others, the reservation should go. Exactly what the Ambedkar's view was there, that was the view of Savarkar.
He also agreed with Baba Saheb Ambedkar on the aspect of untouchability and the caste system. There were the 7 shackles that he said that are chaining or holding back Hindu society.
Yes. Savarkar said that untouchability is a fruit of a tree and not a cause. So cause is the caste differences. And this view he promoted since 1924. And later you will see, after even 10 years, Ambedkar wrote the famous book Annihilation of the Caste. So both mean exactly same. The caste are responsible for the differences, Ucha Neech system. So for untouchability to go, the caste system has also to go. So both have exactly same views on that.
He also had foresight. He saw that if the nation walks and its founding fathers and the leaders of that time walked a particular direction or a path, what would happen to Bharat in the future? And has that come to pass?
Yes, definitely, because he has seen in the past, he has studied the history. So on one part, the India was divided into the several castes. So he wanted Hindus to unite and form a casteless society. So that was one objective. And secondly, appeasement was even going in that period. Because if you see in 1921 Mopla riots, the thousands were killed and women were raped and all such atrocities were committed by the Muslims there. Gandhiji openly praised them as my brave Mopla brothers. Further he said that the Muslims, they are fighting by the way their religion has preached them. And he blamed Hindus. He said that originally the Muslim religion is from the Arbastan and they are Ranti, that is what you say. And he blamed Muslims for not civilizing them. So this was an open appeasement and Savarkar opposed it since that day.
But he also had a position on partition. And one of it was also when the partition of Bengal was attempted in early 1900s, then it was retracted, but then it was all, many believe that the entire partition movement or this entire thing, the origins, genesis is actually Bengal, erstwhile now today's Bangladesh, erstwhile East Pakistan or East Bengal.
Since earlier Britishers were trying to, I will say, the divide and rule policy. In 1857, Hindus and Muslims fought together. So what British did was the appeasement of Muslims. Muslim what is Shishtamandal, the Britishers took them to London and they demanded for electoral, this one, we want 35% seats and 1 vote Hindu and 3 vote Muslims and all such things. So Britishers promoted them right from the beginning. And this was a clear-cut express. They separated the Muslim areas from Bengal and Assam as well. And they divided the Bengal and they wanted to see how the India reacts to it. Unfortunately, the Muslim population didn't oppose this partition. But rest of the India sided with the people in Bengal and they finally got it cancelled. So rightly I will say that the experiment of divide and rule That is it. And then later partition of India started in 1905.
Did he envisage that something like this would repeat in the future? Unfold in the future?
Definitely, Savarkar has said if you are having a partition, then we should have exchange of population. He has written in one of the books that I fully agree with Dr. Ambedkar. Had that been done, so right now what has happened is the Pakistan and Bangladesh, there are no Hindus there, are there. And in India in 1947, the Muslim population was 8% and now it has gone to 22%. So, and the same scenario is happening again. Because in 1921, if you see the population in 1921, India's population, Hindus were 75%, Muslims were 22%, and almost same is today's picture. So, what he has envisaged in 1921, we can envisage in 2021 now.
So,
the same situation is here.
100 years later, it's a similar situation.
For repeat of 1947, maybe in 100 years after the partition.
Strong point that you make there, Ranjit ji, because PM also just the other day in an interview said कि बंगाल एक और विभाजन नहीं चाहता और ये हम होने नहीं देंगे.
Yeah, definitely Savarkar has envisaged the partition of India in 1923 itself. That's why he wrote Hindutva. But during that time, the leading political party was Congress, who didn't listen to Savarkar. The government, British government, was pro-Pakistan. They encouraged the Pakistan. But fortunately, right now, the government is working on the path of Savarkar. So I think even though situation is repeated exactly now, the conditions are same as that were in 1921. I think we'll be able to avoid the partition in the coming years.
Ranjit ji, thank you very much for speaking with us. Namaste and Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Quickly going across to Uday Mahurkar, former CIC, senior journalist, author Veer Savarkar, the book, and also a historian himself. Uday ji, namaste, Jai Hind. Thank you for speaking with us on a day when we mark, or the nation marks Savarkar Jayanti. The straight question to you is, did he or did he not envisage a similar situation in Bengal? Did he or did he not question the grounds of partition itself? In 1950, Noakhali, and even before that in 47 about Assam and Bengal, he had some serious concerns.
You see, in 1937, when all the restrictions on Savarkar were removed, he got an invitation from Netaji Bose, Achyutrao Patwardhan and S.M. Joshi. These three people asked him to join Congress. They invited him to join Congress. Savarkar refused, saying that Congress is indulging in Muslim appeasement at the cost of Hindu rights. Doing so in Bharatvarsh is betraying the nation. Therefore, if I join Congress at this stage, when there is no hope of Congress retracing its steps, I will be party to this sin, you know. And he refused to join. So he predicted Pakistan 10 years before Pakistan came into formation. His 1937 speech at Karnavati, Ahmedabad, when he took over as president of Hindu Mahasabha, is very clear. He says that if Congress does not stop the policy of Muslim appeasement at the cost of Hindu rights, then Pakistan can happen. So Savarkar, in that sense, the way he predicted partition, the way he predicted the Chinese threat, the way he predicted the threat on account of Muslim appeasement to India's internal security, Assam, I think Savarkar, in our book we have proved that Savarkar is the father of India's national security. He is the Nostradamus of India's national security because he has foreseen all the problems India has faced on the national security front much before they happened.
Correct, but he was also somebody
So
who wanted to unshackle.
Savarkar,
He had foresight, Udayji, and you're right, and you mentioned that and you've elucidated that brilliantly in the book, and he's also looked at that the bigger enemy is China. He's spoken about that. He was worried about what is going to happen 100 years down the line. When he saw what happened with the Mopla riots, he had foreseen what could happen, and partition did happen, and a lot of it stemmed from Bengal. The origins, genesis were Bengal. He also wanted people to protect Sindh because the larger Hindu aspect, Hindu Sindh should not go away with the Muslim League and with the then proposed Pakistan, and it was a concern for him the moment it was delinked from the Bombay province. But what I'm coming to now is how he envisaged Hindu society. He also thought Hindu society was chained and shackled. He talked about espoused Vedokta Bandi, he wanted to Shuddhi Bandi, Beti Bandi, Roti Bandi, and also Vyavasai Bandi amongst about the 7 shackles of Hindu society.
Savarkar, if you look at it, the kind of work he did while he was in Ratnagiri for about 13 years in Najar Kaid, the kind of work he did, so far as untouchability is concerned, so far as the entry of Hindus into temples is concerned, I think it is landmark. V.R. Shinde, a great...
Yeah, the Patit Pavan temple movement, yes.
Yes, V.R. Shinde is a great social reformer of Maharashtra. He had said that had Savarkar not joined politics in 1937 and had he continued with his untouchability, movement against untouchability and Hindu Sangathan, untouchability would have been erased from large parts of the country. That is what that is the kind of tribute has been paid to Savarkar. So Savarkar was a great social reformer. Apart from a great
so can we pinch today
political and security visionary?
In 2024, can we pinch a leaf out of it amidst all this entire OBC quota, reservation debate, game of appeasement that's being played? Final question, Udayji.
What do you want to know?
No, can we take a leaf out of Savarkar's thesis of how we can actually form our quota system, how we can actually empower those who are truly need empowerment?
No, basically, he was not against quota to, backward Hindus or untouchable Hindus, but he was strictly against quota to Muslims. Till then, and more so after partition, because partition you had given Pakistan to Indian Muslims.
Yeah, land was given. Partition happened on the grounds of religion, Hindu and Muslim. Yeah.
Yes, no. The 1945. Let us understand this. The 1945 election, the last parliamentary election before partition. In that, the voting was less. Hindu voting percentage was I think 25% and Muslim was 20%. But out of 20%, 87% Muslims voted for Muslim League. So majority, if not 87%, if you can't juxtapose that figure on entire 100%,
Right.
But it is very clear that majority of Indian Muslims wanted partition, and they stayed back. So you see, this entire thing began in Lucknow Pact. If you
Right.
go further back,
Right.
in Lucknow Pact, it was Lokmanya Tilak who thought that this sparing between Hindus and Muslims and the kind of advantage Britishers are taking to divide the Indian society. Let me give some concessions. Let the Congress give some concessions to the Muslims.
Right.
So it was the first step towards concession to Muslims, so far as parliamentary quota is concerned, was given by Congress under the leadership of Lokmanya Tilak, because Lokmanya Tilak could see that the Britishers are exploiting Hindu-Muslim differences.
Right.
You get my point? So
I get
the
your
story starts with 1916.
So 1916,
Lucknow Pact.
2024,
But thereafter,
108 years later.
Had Lokmanya Tilak lived, he would have retraced his steps,
Right.
But then he died, and Gandhiji took over. And Gandhiji had totally different ideas, He
Right.
wanted to appease Muslims at any cost. I call his model of Hindu unity as Hindu-Muslim unity at Hindu cost.
Right. So there are critics of Mahatma Gandhi. There are those who also have need to read Savarkar's work on social reform, construct of the Hindustan that he had envisaged, and his political definition of the word Hindu itself and who's a Hindu itself, that encompassed everybody who lived in this geography between the Himalayas and the seas, that is the Indian Ocean. Thank you very much, Uday Markarji. I've got to wind up on that note, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a very short break. Where we come back, brass tacks. Stay with us.
Elections impact Bharat's rise in the world. Join me, Nalin Mehta, for the most dynamic and distinctive coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
3 करोड़ बहनों
Will the southern states be the opposition's trump card in these elections? Join me, Sumant C. Raman, for the most dynamic and distinct election coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis.
किसानों को
लाइट से हटा दिया पाचा लगाओ हट जाए तो मजा
बंद कर रहा हूँ फिर मैं
लाइट वाला हटा रहा लाइट आप 2-3 मिनट बाद भी कर देना अब कौन सी जगह से अच्छा मिल पाएगा सीधा यहाँ है बुद्धू सर तो सो गए रिप्लाई नहीं दिया
Halt the Modi juggernaut. Join me, Nistula Hebbar, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
Dinosaur can't.
Will personal equations spoil chances? Join me, Smita Prakash, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections is equal to CNN News 18.
The countdown begins.
India's largest news network is ready to deliver the fastest and most accurate election results.
Want to know how? With over 2,000 reporters across all the counting centers and constituencies nationwide. Real-time coverage that's minutely coordinated, backed by a flawless record of precise results.
We are always first,
Always right.
this election. Trust the News 18 Live Result Hub. Co-powered by
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. All eyes are on Bengal as the long 7-phase election winds down to the final phase, which is going to happen on the 1st of June. That is this coming Saturday. Bengal is crucial for the BJP for electoral as well as ideological reasons. Electoral reasons because remember the last time in 2019, Bengal was the breakout election for the BJP. It went from 4 MPs to 18 MPs. It went from a mere 17% vote share to 40% vote share. The TMC had 22 MPs with a 43% vote share. But 2 years later, the TMC clawed it back. They blew it out of the park with 215 MLAs and a 48